You are powerful. I'm Jeremy Andrew Davis, and I'm going to be talking about in this video how trying to force yourself to be positive is actually doing more harm than good. Now, why do I say that? I suffered from depression, anxiety. I have been diagnosed with PTSD. I am healing from that through the programs and health approaches that I am doing right now. And I can tell you that as I was trying for years to overcome my depression without methods that were working, I was trying to be positive. And that only made things worse. And now that I'm starting to be on the other end of things, now that I am naturally being positive in my life, I'm discovering why that is. What I've come up with is that there is a point where positivity is so far above your existence right now that every fiber of your being is fighting against this lie that you're trying to tell yourself that life is good. And when you try to convince yourself that things are good or look on the bright side of your suffering, when you're at a certain level, that's only going to feel like you're lying to yourself. And lying to yourself, it's not going to help you at all. Now, everybody suffers from some degree of depression and anxiety, at least in moments. Everybody knows what that feeling is like. But there are different levels of depression and anxiety. And I view it this way. All existence is on a continuum. There is no black and white. There's all sorts of different grays in between. And so with depression and anxiety, picture the ocean. Positivity is the amount of light that gets to you. Some people are right at the surface of the ocean. They see the sunshine and they're like, life is amazing. And I hated those people. Probably for some of you watching this video, my passion and excitement in these videos is a little abrading. And thinking back on where I was just a couple of years ago, I might not have been able to watch myself in this video because I just couldn't absorb that kind of positivity and energy. It just made me mad that I wasn't there. A lot of this happening on a subconscious level, and I probably couldn't even tell you why I had such a visceral reaction to people who were happy. Now, the reason for that is because I was down dark in the depths of the ocean, in the San Andreas Trench. That's not it. The something trench. Anyway, I was down in the depths of the ocean where no light can get through that amount of water. Down in the darkest abyss where the only light that is there is created by the animals that live there. That's a pretty deep metaphor for where I was and how I got out of living in that situation. Now, if you had talked to me just those couple of years ago, I did not realize how depressed I was, how dark into the abyss I was. And that's because I was, to some extent, creating my own light. To another extent, because I had been living in that darkness for so long, I didn't know what it looked like to live in the light. I had forgotten what it was like to feel naturally positive, to naturally feel joy, to have happiness without some sort of exterior stimulation. That is a really hard place to be in. And if you're in that spot right now, my heart goes out to you, and I hope that these videos help you in some way raise up from the bottom of the ocean to get to where some light starts filtering down through and you start seeing the beauty of life. So as you're down in this dark abyss, when somebody comes in with a bright light of joy and happiness and positivity, it is blinding, it is painful. So if you were to go down into this area of the ocean and shine a light on these fish, it would be blinding to them. It could hurt them. When you're struggling with depression and you're that far down into the darkness, and somebody comes along who is happy and bright and positive, and they're like, hey, you just gotta be happy, or you just gotta try to be positive, you'll wanna punch them in the face, because their happiness and their joy for life is painful to you. And so I would beat myself up. I would be angry at myself when people did that, because I felt like I wanted that, and how can I not have this for myself? What is wrong with me? And yet I would also be angry at them for not understanding where I was coming from, not knowing that their brilliance is painful. And again, I would not have been able to admit how depressed and how dark of a place I was in while I was living it. Number one, because if I did admit that, I would be that much harder on myself. I would hate myself that much more. With all that being said, it is important to find positivity, because you can reprogram the neurons and the neurological pathways in your brain with your thoughts to slowly and gently start to rise, to come up off of the ocean floor and get some of that filtered sunlight coming down. And this is a beautiful, beautiful experience. And it is hard to do. The key with it is to be easy, to find something, to find that next little incremental lift, just an inch higher, and do that. It has to. This is the key. It has to ring true in your soul. If you are trying to force yourself to be positive, it is not going to work. Find the one thing in your situation where you can raise that 1 inch higher, that one hair of a little bit more positive. It may still feel like a negative, but it could be less negative than the thoughts that you're playing in your head previously. And that 1 inch will be a step forward to the right direction. This is a long process. It's something that I'm still working on. But as you start making these active choices every day, as many as you can, without beating yourself up, but with rewarding yourself and congratulating yourself, patting yourself on the back for when you do it, this becomes easier and easier. It starts to become a habit, and pretty soon you'll look back and you'll go, whoa, look how far down I was just a month ago. Look where I am now. I'm starting to see glimmers of light. I'm starting to naturally feel some positivity without me looking for it. It's coming upon me unlooked for, which is an amazing experience, especially for me when I had years and years and years of not ever feeling positive unless something that I was trying for came true and it was some external situation. I never felt happy or joyful or positive naturally. Now, those moments are coming more and more frequently, unlooked for. Just, I walk outside in my backyard and wow, I'm feeling positive. Or I'm sitting down just resting a little bit and I'm like, I'm happy, I like my life. It's such a huge change from where I was a year and a half ago. So have hope that in just a couple of years, and maybe even less time, even a week, you could be feeling that much better. In a month, you could be feeling that much better. In a couple months, imagine what you can do. There is hope. You have to be in charge of how fast you progress. And I encourage you not to push yourself, not to force yourself. If you are forcing anything, it's not going to have the best effect, because your body and your subconscious is going to have a rebound effect and fight against you. You don't want to fight. Find something that rings true, make that little step, and then practice it. But every single time you do make that choice, it is important to congratulate yourself. It is important to brag about yourself. Find someone who knows what you're going through, who can be a support to you, who you can talk to openly and say, I made this choice. I did this much better today. I can't tell you how much that helps. Another help is writing it down in a logbook. Mark your date and write down personal achievement, and then write out what you did that day. Pretty soon you can become addicted to going, hey, if I make this choice right now, I can go write that down as something that I accomplished today. And then a couple of months from now, you can look back and see how far you have progressed, and also everything that you have accomplished. Pretty quickly of writing these things down, you start going back and going like, wow, look at what I've been able to do. It is so empowering. Wherever you find yourself in the depths of the ocean, to whatever amount of light is getting down to you, I want to be an encouragement for you, because I was there down at the bottom. I was having unbidden suicidal thoughts. I do own some firearms, and it was getting to the point that I didn't want to have a psychotic episode, so I moved my firearms to my dad's house so that I couldn't access them. That's how dark of a place I had been in. So there is hope. And wherever you are in that continuum of light reaching you, you have the power within you to make small steps to start swimming up to brighter seas. And I hope that you share some of those stories with me. For those of you who have had some success with this, please leave me a comment below. Tell me some of the things that you've learned along the process. I want to learn from you, and I want to help share your stories with the rest of the community that I'm growing here on this channel. If you would like to join the community, I encourage you to subscribe. Also, share the video with people you think might benefit from it, and give me a like if you can. Thanks for watching, and take courage.